Hello again. So the music room is kind of back to normal now. Yes, after that episode yesterday where I was playing around with positioning the speakers, I think I have them in a better spot now actually. So they are closer to the listening position, but so far so good. So far so good. A definite improvement, I think. I just wanted to talk about some recent new purchases. Two Beach Boys albums from Analogue Productions. I had heard that this was a great series, and I own already Surf's Up by the Beach Boys from 1971, which is great. It's a great listen. Underrated album, that one. Get it if you definitely get it if you've not got that one. That's a really good album. So I picked up these ones, Surfer Girl and Little Deuce Coupe. Something which I've noticed actually with the Beach Boys is they obviously back in the early 60s with their early albums, it wasn't uncommon for them to repeat songs on different albums. So Little Deuce Coupe is obviously on this album, but it's also on this album. And I think Shutdown, which is on, I think Shutdown's on this one as well, or is it? Yes, it is. Shutdown is also on another album of theirs, which I think is called Shutdown. I can't remember. Anyway, so that was obviously a common thing, certainly with Beach Boys albums, where they would bring out an album, there'd be a track on there, and which would be repeated on a different album. So yeah, not sure how I would have felt about that back in the early 60s. I kind of would have maybe felt I was being ripped off a little, but there's another track actually, I think it's on this one, Our Car Club, is it? I think that's on another, oh yeah, that's on here, look, Our Car Club. So Our Car Club's on here, and Our Car Club's on there. So that's not one track, that's two tracks. Anyway, regardless, these are fantastic sounding albums. I love that early Beach Boys sound. The harmonies are so unique and beautiful to listen to. These are both stereo copies, and like the Beatles, I understand that the mastering of the stereo editions there wasn't as much care and attention taken on those as on the mono masters. But they still sound great, and I absolutely love hearing the harmonies, and it really is. It's a joy to listen to. I just found myself grinning from ear to ear listening to these. Not that I'm old enough to remember these when they came out. I mean, I wasn't born when these came out, but they are just. It kind of takes you to a special place, I suppose. For me, it's a summer feeling by the beach when you listen to the Beach Boys, and yeah, I just can't, that's a feeling you can't escape, really. I mean, they're very short songs. I think like between 1:50 and just over 2 minutes, but they're fantastic. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend these two. If you're into the Beach Boys, you've probably got them already, but they're lovely pressings by Analogue Productions on 200 gram vinyl, I think, and yeah, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So moving on to Blue Note, these came last week from the Blue Note Classic series. Eric Dolphy's Out to Lunch and Herbie Hancock's Maiden Voyage. I haven't listened to Maiden Voyage yet, but I've listened to Out to Lunch, and as all the other releases from the Classic series, crystal clear. Seems to be really well remastered. I don't have Analogue Productions version of this. I do have an old digitally remastered Cadre Rouge version from the mid 80s, which actually does sound. I mean, it's a perfectly good album to listen to. I've not done a comparison. I doubt many people out there have that version, to be honest, so I'm not sure if it's worth doing the comparison, but might be interesting to do. Out to Lunch, if you've not heard it, it takes a little getting into, but it's not totally inaccessible. I love the interplay with Bobby Hutcherson's vibes and the other instruments on the album. So it's an album that I really enjoy. Not particularly melodic. Eric Dolphy was, as I understand it, an exponent of more of a free jazz approach, but it's still an enjoyable listen. Sonically, really good, as most Blue Notes are, beautifully recorded. But this version, I have to say, I'm very pleased with it, and also extremely quiet. As I said, not listened to Herbie Hancock's Maiden Voyage. Can't wait to hear it though. So that's on the list. Just going back to a purchase I made a couple of weeks back, Harry Belafonte live at Carnegie Hall. If you don't have this, I highly recommend you get it, because it's a great listen. It really is. And Analogue Productions have done such a good job on this, because during the concert there's very quiet passages. Very quiet passages where Belafonte's singing quite quietly, and there's very few instruments in the background. You can almost hear the crowd kind of shuffling in their seats, or the odd cough here and there. And that's testament to the amazingly quiet pressing that Analogue Productions have managed here, because that's the kind of album where, or that's the kind of recording where you'd be put off by clicks, the odd little click and the odd little pop, but this is absolutely silent, and it really is. It really elevates the experience to a very special one, is all I can say, and that's all down to the very quiet vinyl. So, you know, when there's more going on in the mix and there's tiny little clicks or pops or surface noise, it kind of renders itself unnoticeable and you don't really notice it. But when there's very quiet passages of music, that's when those kind of things, that extraneous noise becomes annoying, and you don't really get it on this. So, you know, fair play to Analogue Productions, because they've done a great job on the pressing on that. And finally, I got a box set through, which is this one here. It's the studio albums of Mark Knopfler from 96 to 2007. And I must say, I'm a little disappointed. I mean, I've not listened to any of them yet, but I was just looking at the LPs and just a little bit disappointed that they're not glossy covers. I don't think a great deal of care and attention was taken with the covers on these. Fairly generic. Would have been nice to have had just a bit more attention paid to the quality of the covers, but it is what it is. Anyway, so 2 albums from this box set have never been on vinyl before, Golden Heart and Sailing to Philadelphia. The others have. Now, I don't have, the only one I have of these is this one, Kill to Get Crimson, which I bought a few years back. And I must say, I'm a big fan of Knopfler's solo work. I've got Kill to Get Crimson, I've got Privateering, Tracker, and Down the Road Wherever, or Down the Road Whenever was his most recent one. So it'll be interesting to see what these are like. I'm sure they'll be very much in the same vein. Knopfler tends to, he's got quite a, I'm sure many of you know his work, but he's got quite a broad style. He can be quite rocky, he can be very folky, he has no 2 songs are the same, and I really like that about him, and the stories and the vignettes that he paints with the lyrics of each song, they're really interesting. There's one on Kill to Get Crimson, which is called The Secondary Waltz, which is a lovely song, and it's just so funny because it's about school children being taught how to waltz by an ex-army soldier, and it's just a really funny song to listen to, but it's also quite beautiful. So this is going to be interesting to listen to. What else was I going to say about this? They're all housed, actually all the records are housed, they're all double albums actually, and there's a B-sides one, this one here, the B-sides, that's a single album, but all the rest of them are double albums. And fair play, actually, they're all housed in polyline sleeves, which are nice. not just the regular paper sleeves that you get. So it'll be interesting to see what this is like. I really like Mark Knopfler, so this box set will be, it's a nice addition to the collection. So yeah, so that's what I've received in the last couple of weeks. I've got more pre-orders on the way. Some of them have been ordered, God, months ago. Carole King's Tapestry would be one that I ordered ages and ages and ages ago. I don't even think that's out yet. That's obviously been delayed. iRobot, I think, is another one, and various others. So when they get here, obviously I'll do a quick video. But yeah, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if this is the sort of content you like, and give the video a like as well. It all helps. And thanks for watching, and keep spinning those records.